Once again, we are back on the streets. Goa Bachao Abhiyan was launched in 2006 to throw out the regional plan which had changed the landscape of Goa. So to protect Goa, to protect its eco-sensitive zones, the movement was launched, and we know that the plan was withdrawn and a new plan was drawn up. There was a task force that was done at that time, and the draft plan was sent to the villages. There was lot of then it went back. There was opportunity given for people to make the correction, and so the RP 2021 came in. Now after the plan was made, now were whichever projects that were rejected because it didn't fit on in that plan, they are making backdoor entries, and the government today has amended the TCP Act, and under the name of errors, all these changes are being brought in, from eco-sensitive zones to settlement. And if you have been reading the newspapers, we have been constantly going to the media, you will see that most of these projects are given to people from outside the state. These people have no interest of Goa at all. And besides the conversion of the eco-sensitive zones, we also had amendments. So what couldn't be done because of there is a process to be followed by the for regional plan, they are bringing in with the amendments. So all the groups have come together. In fact, we've got an overwhelming response. Different groups have been working at their level to protect Goa, to save Goa. And today a need has been felt to all of us together, come together, and once again we launch our Save Goa movement, that is Goa Bachao Abhiyan. Goa Bachao Abhiyan is basically Save Goa movement, and so first step what we have done is we have asked people to give in their objections to the amendments, which was done when the call was given. It was people came forward. There is a 17(2) amendment which has been made. There is a legal challenge that will be given, and we are demanding that just one thing, as we said, if any changes have to be made, it has to be made through the regional plan process, and that has to be a participatory process. For the last so many years, we are saying it has to be participatory as per the 73rd and 74th amendment. So this time, if the plan has to be revised, you ensure that there is a participatory process, all the data be collected, all the studies be done. After that, so many changes in the law has come because of climate change. There have been climate stresses, sustainable development issues. So all these have to be taken into consideration, and the process has to begin. And if the government continues to violate the law and destroy Goa, you can, if you stand across, you will see at the Beti hill is completely denuded, and this is going to happen hill after hill after hill. So the need has come to protect Goa, to save Goa, and today the groups have come together, as we said, to give notice to the government to stop this violation. Otherwise, the people will take their movement to get it done, to protect Goa.
माझे नाव जॅक, गोंयचे फुडले पिळगे खातीर हे संस्थेचो प्रेसिडेंट. आयज आमी गोंयकारांक सांगूंक सोदता की गोंयचो गव्हर्मेंट गोंयकारांच्या नेणारपणाचो फायदो काडून नाका जाल्ले एमेंडमेंट करून गोंयचे दोंगर, गोंयचीं शेतां डिस्ट्रॉय करूंक सोदता. आनी जोरी तर गोंयकारांनी हे गव्हर्मेंटाक हे दोंगर आनी शेतां डिस्ट्रॉय करपाक एलाव केले, जाल्यार ताचो परिणाम गोंयचे इकोलॉजीचेर जाता. ग्रावंड वॉटर टेबल ते रिचार्ज जावपाक जाय, ते रिचार्ज जावपाक पावचे ना, म्हणजे एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन ताचेर परिणाम जाता. पिवपाच्या उदकाचेरूय परिणाम जाता. सद्याकूच कितल्या गांवांनी पिवपाच्या उदकाचेर त्रास जातात, आनी जोरी तर आमच्या गोंयांत हें लिमिटेड उदक आसा पिवपाचें, ताचेरूय ओवरलोड प्रेशर जातलो आनी वयल्यान गोंयचें पॉप्युलेशनूय वाडटा. अशे जायते फॅक्टर्स आमी कन्सिडर केले जाल्यार फाल्यां आमच्या भुरग्यांक हो गोंयचे फुडले पिळगेक इट वील बी अ नायटमेर. आनी तशें ना जावचे खातीर गोंयकारांनी रस्त्यार येवपाचो टायम आयला. आनी आमी गव्हर्मेंटाकूय मेसेज धाडटा, सगळ्याच गोंयकारांक डू नॉट अंडरएस्टिमेट गोंयकार. यू कॅन फूल सम ऑफ आवर गोंयकार्स ऑल द टायम, बट यू कॅनॉट फूल ऑल द गोंयकार्स ऑल द टायम. इनफ इज इनफ. गोंयकारांचो चडूय ओदमास करचो न्हय. जरूय तर एक पावट गोंयकार रस्त्यार आयले जाल्यार गोंयांत उजो पेट्टलो आनी गोंयकारांक प्रोवोक करपाक गव्हर्मेंट जबाबदार आसतलो. ही शिटकावणी आमी गव्हर्मेंटाक दिता. थँक्यू.
What is the concrete solution for this? We cannot. Most of the time, people say that we just cannot ban everything and anything in Goa.
Can I respond to 1 second? Population of Goa is not increasing. It is the population of Goa is below replaceable level. The Goans which are there, if you look at all the birth statistics, our birth rate is below replaceable level. So our population is decreasing. Now with this speculative business, people are buying homes. It's a tourist place. So they are just converting the our green spaces into building to accommodate people coming from outside the state. So we have to decide how much we are going to take in. Okay, so we have only that much of space. We can't overdo it. And if you look at all the buildings that have been constructed, the vacant flats, the percentage of vacant flats are very high, which indicates that this is just for business. So should we destroy Goa for the sake of speculative business?
I don't know whether anybody in the audience can afford any of the buildings and villas that they are putting. If everybody in the audience cannot afford any one of these villas, then it means that this is totally unwanted housing. It's not meant for Goan people. If it was for Goan people, young Goan couples getting married today cannot afford a house, they cannot afford a flat. Even if they get 1-bedroom flat, they're happy. And here these buildings are going for crores because they are part of the international market. And the international market rate is in US dollars, not in Indian rupees. So who can afford US dollar rate? But other regulations which they have covered, town planning, building, construction regulations, that is open for objections. So hundreds of objections have been filed. So that's a separate issue. But we are shocked with the amount of changes that are coming in all at one time. They are amending the Building and Construction Regulation Act, amending the Building and Construction Regulations, amending the Town and Country Planning Act has been amended 4 times in the last 4 months. That means that the government doesn't know what to do. Whenever they want, it says we will change. Whenever it will change, we'll change. And we are really shocked at the level to which the town planning process has been taken by the government today. I mean, it is at the lowest level, highest level of arbitrariness, lowest level of thinking. And it is degenerated right now into exactly the same situation that she had described in 2006-2007 when Mr. Montserrat was giving conversions on the basis of a particular rate per square meter. And today it has come to that same level, only the rate must have gone up about 10 times or maybe more per square meter.
Will you be approaching village level groups to pass resolutions in the Gram Sabha?
Already 45 organizations, in fact more names have been coming. This has been like a short meeting because it was World Environment Day. We wanted to have the press conference today. So the message has gone to all the groups on the ground and we are waiting for the response of the government.
When is the matter listed for hearing in the court?
What, 17-2?
17-2 is Swapnish.
Swapnish is come.
The Swapnish's matter that is there in the court.
See, this issue of the RP, different groups are working at different level and yeah, we are coordinating. Now the 17-2, the Morji project has come up, so that matter is in court. Now when matter is in court, the concerned people do not speak because it is considered sub judice. Okay? Okay, so but the matter is in court.
There is challenge to 17.
Yeah.
They did not challenge it in the beginning, but they have amended the petition, and they have challenged all that Ganga Reddy and all this petition.
So when you say this Save Goa movement, what all activities does these organizations want to do in the all over Goa? Like?
The organizations are going to meet and decide what should be the course of action that is going to take. So meetings are going to be called, a consultative process will be followed, and accordingly we will decide.
Goa have been anguished by the unprecedented changes and amendments to town planning laws, some executed, some proposed by the state government during the past few months. After a series of meetings and discussions culminating in the statement which they are issuing today, they strongly oppose these amendments to the Town and Country Planning Act 1974, which allows arbitrary zoning changes in the regional plan, and to the Goa Land Development and Building Regulations 2010, which seek to permit perverse variations in the building and construction regulations to favour private individuals and interests. Section 17(2) of the Town and Country Planning Act, which enables the government to change the land use of any plot in the statutory regional plan without calling for objections or studies on the grounds that these are errors which need to be corrected, was notified as law on 2/2 of March 23. Since zoning changes affect everyone, such changes cannot be allowed without public objections. The move by the government to correct errors in the regional plan is suspect at most of the zone changes that are being allowed are using this section. Using the section are large areas which cannot be conceivably considered as errors. Some of these changes violate eco-sensitive zones, and some others were in fact rejected earlier when proposed under Section B, and in fact even by the state level committee as well, which I was part of. What is alarming that gives the game away is that errors are being noticed by private parties, are being issued by private parties, a number of whom are developers and real estate agents, companies, all speculating on the land in Goa. On this World Environment Day, June 5th, the groups assembled in Panjim state they will oppose tooth and nail these arbitrary amendments and changes in zoning of plots to suit private parties. We have one demand today: no piecemeal changes to Regional Plan 2021. Piecemeal changes are against the interests of planning in the state of Goa, as well as its ecology and environment. Goa's civil society organizations are irrevocably opposed to any destruction of the state's permanent ecological assets. If required, go for revision in 2021 and create a new plan. We therefore give notice to the government of Goa of a firm resolve to oppose any changes it has made or plans to make in the existing regional plan. There is already a challenge of Section 17(2) of the Town Plan Country Act in the form of PIL, which the government must be aware of. We warn persons who are getting zoning changes of their plots under the garb of errors that they may be wasting their time and their money in doing so, and will likely get drawn into litigation, for we are determined to defend our eco-sensitive zones and protect our ecological assets, including hills, agricultural fields, khazans, etc. This has been signed by the Goa Bachao Abhiyan, the Goa Foundation, the Federation of Rainbow Warriors, Act for Goa, Save Bancham Group, Goache Foodlip Pilgip Khatir, Kamarsan Tenants Association, Khazan Society of India, Peaceful Society, Kolva Civic and Consumers Forum, Vivekananda Awareness Brigade, United Goans Foundation, Goanchi Mati Movement, Goa Rivers and Sand Protectors Network, Save All Goa Action Committee, Goa Green Brigade, United Poultry Citizens Forum, Mercy's Welfare Munch, Amche Mole Campaign, Chikali Villagers Action Committee, Chikali Bio Crusaders. It is necessary that all departments provide up-to-date information on important features such as private forest, mangroves, wildlife sanctuaries, turtle nesting sites, sand dunes, springs, wetlands, road networks. All this can be done to the Forest Department, PWD and other departments. Projected water supply to the WRD, projected power needs from the Electricity Department, agricultural needs from the Agriculture Department, coastal area zones by the Coastal Management and Environment Department. And before the new regional plan is drawn up, this is required, so infrastructure is in place to ensure that new developments do not inflict undue pressure on those areas already existing. We suggest that the data collected needs to be tied in with GIS mapping for greater accuracy. which will clearly indicate steep slopes and other geographical and landscape features that need to be incorporated. It must be understood that 2021 was only done with Google mapping, which has inaccuracies built into it. GIS is fairly accurate, and it's what's being used throughout the world today. For this reason, we demand that the draft new regional plan may be drawn, shall be sent to each village, panchayat and municipality, indicating the existing density and allowable density based on infrastructure and projected population growth for the village development committees to prepare their local plans, indicating the areas for new settlement zones, village commons, recreational areas, and all this is to be ratified through Gram Sabhas as is specified in the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment. Such involvement of local bodies will help identify any areas in the regional plan before it is notified, and thus eliminate the need for amendments such as Section 17.2 in the TSP Act. It must be remembered at this point in time that the Regional Plan 2021 was supposed to go back to the villages for ratification, but because of the impending elections at the time, it never did. And so whatever errors there may have been in that plan were not really ratified. So here's an opportunity to really start a true bottom-up process where all these are checked at the bottom level and not to a central department sitting in Panjim or Marga or whatever. We also assured the plan, which itself is only meant to indicate broad spectrum identification of zones, is against basic planning norms and is simply not permissible as it destroys the integrity of the plan and the perception envisaged by the planners when the plan was prepared and horizon year indicated. Thirdly, it is surprising that the errors are being noticed in the regional plan more than a decade after it was notified. If indeed there are errors on a large scale which are suddenly being noticed now, then it's time for a new regional plan to be drawn up which make fresh allocations of space and rectify errors, if any, that are seen in the present plan. Should the government need to address any errors, it should be done in a holistic manner with the preparation of a new regional plan that goes through a proper process of updated data collection and as well a vision documenter. The new regional plan, call it 2030 or 2040, must ensure total protection of paddy fields, tenanted agricultural lands, eco zones, the area around wildlife sanctuaries, Khazan lands, all hill slopes, and other ecological assets of Goa, including the Western Ghats zone. Besides environmental considerations, the regional plan must account for settlement areas based on scientifically derived population growth projections, essential infrastructure needs, sustainable economic activities, in order to prevent the gentrification, haphazard and unplanned real estate development, and other speculative, high-cost, low-benefit and unsustainable activities